If instead of rebooting movies, retelling them from a different point of view became popular, which movie would you like retold? Air Bud, but told from the POV of the kid who was pulled out of a basketball game to be replaced by a dog. There's nowhere in the rule book it says you can pull me out so a dog can play, either. It only caused him to train harder and harder. Bury himself into sports to prove others wrong. He ended up finding football, and the rest is history, until the ghosts of his past came back to haunt him. The true Michael Vick story. An alien invasion movie told strictly from the aliens' perspective, complete with their confusion about why the humans are responding the way they are. It would make sense to us but would take the narrative form of a mystery for them. It could be a clever way to illustrate cultural misunderstanding. An example could be, let's show them we are friendly by revealing all our weapons, to demonstrate we aren't hiding anything, which the humans would take as a threat. I always liked that about the Borg on Star Trek. They genuinely thought they were helping the people they were conquering. A villain is scarier when it thinks it's doing the right thing. Nice try, Disney. Who knows, maybe some good ideas will get done rather than the usual garbage. That is literally what they did with the story of Maleficent. Aladdin, from Jafar's perspective. A college theater group did a very R-rated version that is absolutely hilarious, which can be found on YouTube under Twisted, the story of a Grand Vizier. What I would really enjoy is a late 80s/early 90s hand-animated Aladdin where Jafar is the defender of the Sultan's realm against some nefarious interloper who is bent on stealing the princess' heart and worming his way into the royal family. And he has a genie. Fuck you, Jafar. I don't like musicals, and still this one was so good I keep bringing it up. Such a well-done piece. Funny, dark, and yet somewhat touching. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory from Willy Wonka's point of view. I want to hear his wicked thoughts. Wasn't the Johnny Depp one basically his point of view? Oompa Loomba's POV. They probably have some serious shit going on behind the scenes. E.T., from his point of view. The fuck this kid poking me for? Nah man. From the government's POV. Robin Hood from the Sheriff of Nottingham's perspective. It'd be great to watch a movie about a medieval cop trying to catch a highwayman. Apparently, the Russell Crowe Robin Hood movie was supposed to be this. However, Ridley Scott rewrote the script, and he honestly believes he's taxing because the realm needs more protection and you can't without paying the soldiers. But this guy keeps stealing the tax revenue and robbing the largest tax bracket. I want a movie and a book called Neville Longbottom and a sort of Gryffindor about life in the school while the big three were wandering around the woods. This isn't exactly what you described, but there's a fantastic play called Puffs that covers all 7 years of Harry's time at Hogwarts, from the perspective of the Hufflepuff students. I was thinking Draco Malfoy, myself. I think he's a more interesting and deeper character than seeing him through Harry's eyes gives him credit for, especially in the last 2 books. 500 Days of Summer would be really interesting to see Summer's perspective on everything. I once spoiled the movie for a friend. She said she was going to watch it and I, having already seen it, asked, is that the one where they all die in the end? She got a little upset because I spoiled it. A couple weeks later I saw her again and she told me she was waiting the whole time for them to die but no one did. We had a good laugh. Avatar: The Last Airbender from the point of view of anyone but M. Night Shyamalan. I would love to see Azula's story. The series did a good job with her character, but expanding on it would be great. That or give us a story of Iroh's life. Let us see him go from generic Fire Nation prince to the wise, tea-loving, pie show player who guided his nephew. Forrest Gump from Jenny's perspective. That would be a dark and fucked up movie. Who would play her father? Wow, that would actually be a really interesting story. I would think Aliens from Newt's perspective would be pretty substantial. How a girl survived all that and the loss of her family alone on a foreign planet. Edit, and to clarify, as I wasn't expecting this to blow up lol, thank you all, it would be essentially the story of Newt living on Hadley's Hope, some background with her and her family, to the point her parents get face-hugged, how the aliens slaughtered the colony, how Newt survived in the air ducts, and what she lived through while ending with Ripley finding her and bringing her back to the Marine Operations Base. It would be set as a claustrophobic horror movie. With a good script this movie could easily do $300 mil emo. There is a comic from Dark Horse that has done this. It's 2 issues long. Early 90s. Actually good. Aliens, Newt's Tale. How about Cloverfield from the view of a professional camera crew? This question instantly made me think of Cloverfield, but not for that reason. I remember when it came out people noticed that there's someone else with a camera in the bridge scene and it became a popular idea that they could do a sequel from that group's perspective. Maybe they could do the Bourne movies too. Star Wars as a goofy stormtrooper buddy cop comedy. Like the Mandalorian final opening. That's kind of the premise of Tag and Blink are dead. Basically almost every stormtrooper you see in Star Wars are actually two rebels disguised as stormtroopers after being captured on the Tenavy 4. Not a movie, but I would definitely watch Breaking Bad, but from the perspective of Gus Fring. That dude has a crazy story to tell. I like that we get a little of that in Better Call Saul. Some characters are more effective when their origins are left vague. I want to see a superhero movie from the perspective of an insurance adjuster. It could be a comedy, but just like every day he wakes up and he's enjoying his morning coffee and a bowl of oatmeal. Then he flips open the morning paper and sees Iron Man went full Michael Bay again, or the Avengers were back in town. Long sigh. Stands up, chair squeaks on floor. Clicks pen. Straps iPad to hip. Tightens camera strap. He's the real superhero. Girls told by the girl who doesn't even go there. This. Or Glen Coco. Either way, I'd watch. I'd love to see Mean Girls from the perspective of anyone who isn't conventionally attractive. A Lion King prequel from Scar's perspective. Show what really happened before the Mufasa era and see how Mufasa cheated Scar out of the throne. Scar's real name is Taka, which literally means garbage. Fucked up childhood. You should check out The Lion Guard. It's a kid's cartoon that is canon, and tells the backstory of Scar, how he got his scar, and why he was so bad. Scar's story isn't the focus, but it is important, and I like how they made it all match to the OG Lion King trilogy. Just explaining why the villain did what the villain did without the vague bullshit of to get power or to become all-powerful. Like Black Panther gave a legit motivation to Killmonger, that this resource-rich secret African nation exists even back in the day of the Atlantic slave trade, and they never lifted a finger to defend their fellow Africans. Wakanda is pretty messed up. No one is a villain from their own perspective. Why does the villain think they are the good guys? Everyone thinks they're the hero of their own story. Some dude who carved another dude's eye out with a spoon. This is what makes Cobra Kai so damn good. Was gonna say this. When Johnny's relating his version of things, it all makes perfect sense. I'm really not much of a fan of the bad guy is really the good guy argument, but if you go back and watch this movie, Daniel starts every fight in the beginning. Princess. And. The. Frog. We got Maleficent out of Sleeping Beauty, so where the fuck is Dr. Facilier's backstory? He had a debt with literal demons and nobody seems to give a shit. This is such an underrated Disney movie. It gets so easily forgotten. I think I need Yzma's story, too. Groundhog Day, a day in the life of Ned Ryerson. Bing. Except we don't see the repeat. We only see the Ned Ryerson from the timeline in which Phil hugs him and makes him uncomfortable, and the rest of the film is Ned trying to figure out his sexuality. I want to see a Batman movie from a goon's point of view. Like, he wakes up and eats some cereal before meeting up with the crew. And just by chance he hung out with Joe the Goon that day instead of Bob. Now he is just gooning around at night when all of a sudden he gets his ass kicked in by fucking Batman. He can't believe his bad luck. And just like that, he was gone. Coolest fucked up thing to ever happen to him.